Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial on winter walking as written by Jerry Reed and played by Chet Atkins. Let's get the usual stuff out of the way first. The full lesson is split up into 4 parts and only the first part will be released on YouTube. For full access, you can check out my website or my Patreon page. Both offer different perks at different pricing points, so there should be something for everyone. If you want the tab and notation file, then do head over to the website, look up the song and click on the music notes icon. That way you'll get a 20% discount. No account or login is necessary to do this. If you are looking for a song that lets you practice the combination of an alternating bass line with hammer-ons and pull-offs on top, then Winter Walking is the song for you. And while things are technically challenging here, it doesn't come close to your average Tommy Emmanuel song. If you can already play songs like Wheels, Chaplin In New Shoes and Baby's Coming Home, then Winter Walking is going to raise the bar and push your technique onto the next level. And all while sounding pretty jolly too. The verse uses the exact same fretting hand pattern over different chords. This makes it a great study for both the left and right hand, because you have to maintain the same pattern in the fretting hand while picking out different bass notes with the picking hand each time the chord changes. The explanation on the first verse is a bit longer, mostly because I have to go over a number of alternatives for different chord shapes. You can, for instance, play this entire tune without using the thumb over the side of the neck a single time. But after the first verse, you know pretty much every single chord shape you need for the rest of the tune, so after that I'm picking up some speed. Okay, to playing then. The guitar is in standard tuning. I'm using a thumb pick. It's not really necessary, it's not super high tempo, or there aren't any special techniques here that really require one, but if you do want that percussive sound, that boom chick bass sound, a thumb pick is going to help. I also have the capo on the 3rd fret. This is to match Chet's original key, but this guitar isn't the best of friends with a capo on the 3rd fret. And I'm guessing probably most guitars aren't going to be that. But the capo is essential for one specific chord, voicing that Chet plays, and if you decide to go for an easier alternative, because I am going to show you one, then you can basically drop the capo altogether and play it in open position as well. But as you will see, for that one special chord, the capo on the 3rd fret does make things a little bit easier. That being said, I'm going to play through the first verse. There isn't an intro, the only thing we have is a little upbeat, a walk up to the first C chord, and we're diving straight into the first verse. This is how it sounds already well below concert speed. Straight into verse number 2. I guess you already picked up why this is an excellent exercise when you're starting out to use hammer-ons and pull-offs over an alternating bass line, because those first 8 bars always use the exact same melodic motif. You're starting out on a C chord. I'm just quickly going to go over the first 4 chords. You start out with a simple C chord, and we're going to alternate with the ring finger from the 3rd fret on the low A string to the low E string. Then we move into an E dominant chord. Now I went for this voicing. Open E string, middle finger 2nd fret on the A string, open D string, index finger 1st fret on the G string. This is the chord that Chet plays differently. Chet uses this voicing. It's the exact same thing, or it sounds exactly the same, but you're using different fingers. Open E string, ring finger 2nd fret on the A string, open D string, and middle finger 1st fret on the G string. And now you're going to have to perform that pull-off pattern with the index finger and pinky on top. And this is the chord that is going to make things difficult. This is why you need the capo on the 3rd fret, because your hand sort of has to twist sideways to get that hammer-on and pull-off pattern going. So I'm going to start out with the easiest version, which is just the basic E dominant chord. Then we move into A minor, And ultimately, we're going to end up on C dominant using only the middle finger, 3rd fret on the A string, and the ring finger, 3rd fret on the G string. Those are the first 4 chords. The picking pattern, bass part, is always alternating from the A string to the D string to the low E string. On the C chord, you're going to alternate with the ring finger to the 3rd fret on the low E string as well, and then back to the D string. Let's not forget that upbeat, 3rd fret low E string, open A string, middle finger 2nd fret A string, and then heading for the C chord. You start by plucking the A string, 3rd fret, together with the open G string. 1, 2. The second beat is just the bass note on the D string, then alternating with the ring finger to the low E string and with the index finger to the high E string. So 1, 2, 3. Low E string, 3rd fret, ring finger, high E string, 1st fret, index finger, and you're going to pull off to an open string on the 2nd half of the beat. 3. And you put the index finger back down on the 1st fret on the B string, and you add the pinky to the 3rd fret on the B string, picking this together with the bass note on the D string, 4, and pulling off to the 1st fret on the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And the first beat of the next bar is transferring the ring finger back to the 3rd fret on the A string, picking that together with an open E string on top. I'm now showing it in straight 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And chances are high that I'm going to do this every once in a while during the tutorial because it's just a little bit easier to explain. In the end, you're going for a swing feel, so the first note should be slightly longer than the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That is the picking pattern you're going for. Then in the second bar, you start with the A string and the high E string together. 1, 2, again just the bass note, and then separately 1st fret B string, still holding down that note, and you're going to hammer on to the 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3, and you hammer on to the 3rd fret with the pinky as you play the bass note, again ring finger 3rd fret on the low E string. 1, 2, 3, re-pick that 3rd fret and pull back off as you play the bass note on the D string. That pattern is a bit trickier, so just that 3rd and 4th beat. 1, 2, and if this is giving you trouble, then just loop it. Just that one part. Making sure that you land both that hammer-on and that pull-off. That full second bar sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the full bar. That C chord in full. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe even a bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the good news is, if you go for that easy voicing or the standard voicing on the E dominant chord, you're now playing the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all you're doing is you're alternating to different bass strings, because now the root note is on the low E string. So you start out with the low E string together with the 1st fret on the G string. 1, 2 to the D string, and then you initiate the pull-off pattern together with the bass note on the A string this time. Back to the D string, and back to both the low E string and the high E string. And in the next part, the same pull-off hammer-on pattern as we played before. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the hammer-on has to land together with the bass note on the A string. And this is why this song is an excellent exercise. You're basically playing the same melody on top, but you have to navigate the thumb pick or the thumb, if you're not using one thumb pick that is, to the exact right bass string. So that's the main goal here, is to maintain the same melody while switching to different bass strings. That whole section on the E dominant chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the whole section on the E chord. Now, as I mentioned before, Chet uses this voicing. And that allows you to dig in a little bit harder with the thumb pick and play the G string as well. But it does make for quite an unusual turn of the fretting hand. But it is possible, of course, Chet showed us, to play it like this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So the pull-off pattern, then, you're holding down always the middle finger and the ring finger. The pull-off is being executed again by the index finger, but it's sort of twisted because of the chord voicing you're using now. And then reaching with the pinky to the 3rd fret is the biggest risk of all. This note quite often has a little bit of string buzz because of that awkward fretting hand position, but it is possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then you're still holding down the index finger on the 1st fret, and you're going to hammer on with the pinky again. So this chord voicing is a bit awkward. Open E string, 2nd fret, open D string, 1st fret and 1st fret, and then an open E string on top, and then reaching with the pinky for the 3rd fret. But it is what Chet plays. And then moving to an A minor chord. It's because of this chord that we're using the capo on the 3rd fret. If you decide to go for the standard E dominant voicing, then you can drop the capo altogether and just move to open position. It gives the bass strings a little bit more low end as well. But those were the first 4 bars. Let me play them again all the way through. I'm going to stick, because it's more or less of a beginner to early intermediate lesson, I'm going to stick to the standard E dominant chord voicing and play the melody on top always with the same fingering. Here we go, first 4 bars. If you use the standard voicing on the E dominant chord, the switch to A minor is quite easy as well. So you're moving over from this chord, dropping down the middle finger and the ring finger on the 2nd fret on the D string and G string. And again, the same hammer-on and pull-off pattern on top. Only we're now returning to the same bass pattern as we used over the C chord. A string, D string, E string, D string. Now on the A minor chord shape, A string, D string, E string, D string. No alternating, it's just a little bit easier to play. So again, one more time, the section on the A minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Moving over, so you're shifting up the ring finger on the G string to the 3rd fret and putting down the ring finger on the 3rd fret as well. A string, 3rd fret, open the E string, ring finger, 3rd fret on the G string, and we're going to talk about the rest in just a second. You pick again A string and G string together. 1, 2, just an open D string bass note, alternate the middle finger to the low E string and drop down the pinky on the 3rd fret on the high E string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do another open D string, and now open E string, hammering onto the 1st fret as you play the bass note on the A string again, transferring the middle finger back over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And now for the next section, this is tricky. This is how you get closest to Chet's original melody, but I'm going to show you an easier alternative in just a second. So we hammer on to the 1st fret with the index finger, so it's already a bit of a stretchy chord shape. Middle finger, ring finger, 3rd fret, index finger on the 1st fret. 1, 2, just the open D string again. Then you drop down the pinky on the 3rd fret on the B string, giving you a C dominant 11th chord. 1, 2, 3. So you play that 3rd fret B string in between 2 bass notes, then you release the index finger and play the middle finger, low E string, 3rd fret, together with an open E string on top. 1, 2, 3. Moving over the index finger to the 1st fret on the B string, and we're going to hammer on back to the 3rd fret with the pinky as we head to the bass note on the D string. And then switching to the middle finger on the 2nd fret to head over to an F chord shape. Now that F chord shape can be done either with the thumb over the side of the neck or with a bar. Does not make a difference for that middle finger on the 2nd fret. That full section on the C chord, just that last bar, the most difficult one up to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. To the F chord. This is tricky. I'm not going to deny that. There is an easier alternative where you start out with a bar on the 3rd fret. That is already easier to play than what we had in that first bar. So just a bar across all 6 strings on the 3rd fret, only adding in the ring finger on the 5th fret on the D string and the pinky, for the moment, 5th fret on the B string. You start out by plucking the A string and the G string at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Then you have that 3rd fret on top already down because of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And as you head for the bass note on the A string again, you pick the B string, 5th fret, in front of the beat, and you slide up as you play the bass note on the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is all that happens, is just moving the pinky back to the 5th fret and then playing the 3rd fret using the bar. That full section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then whatever voicing you're going to use, again, you start with the middle finger on the 2nd fret before heading into an F, either with a bar or with a thumb over the side of the neck. So one more time, that alternative in full, 3, 4. To the 1st fret, whatever voicing you're going to use. That's a lot easier than playing. Although I really like this melodic line, so I'm probably going to keep playing this, that last section. That is also what Chet plays on the original. But there is an alternative as well for you. Those were the first 4 bars, sorry, the first 8 bars. Let me play the last 4 bars one more time, starting on the A minor chord. 3, 4. See, works as well. It's basically which challenge you prefer, is doing the hammer-on and pull-off thing on top, but keeping the chords close together, or switching to that bar on the 3rd fret quickly and getting back, because both of them offer a little bit of a challenge. Those were the first 8 bars. Let me play through the whole section one more time, and the next 8 bars are going to be different. Here we go. And that is all for the first part of the verse. This is probably the trickiest section of the song, so give it some time. Whenever you are ready, you can head over to part 2, which can be found on my Patreon page or my website.